Welcome to the LongBox Paradox, episode 52, pardon me. Jeez, first episode back, and I don't have my shit together. I had posted that I needed to take some time, but I'm gonna fight through it today because a book came out I feel like I really need to talk about, and just basically hiding and not talking, kind of shutting myself in is not positive. So, Frank Miller is back with Rafael Grampa on art for Dark Knight Returns: The Golden Child. Why in the world they pick the name of the worst Eddie Murphy movie one of the worst Eddie movies, there was Norbert. They pick this name of bad 80s movie by Eddie Murphy. Right away, the name kind of gives me the juice chills. This takes place now after Master Race. Carrie Kelly is now Batwoman. Laura, I guess she's Supergirl, is there with young Jonathan, who is the quote-unquote golden child and has different powers, different power set than Laura and Superman himself. And they kind of start talking about it right at the beginning, as Jonathan is, I'd say, a toddler, and Laura and Clark are discussing him. And then we jump ahead a little bit, and he and Laura are going around the city, and Laura, of course, is, talking poorly of the humans, calling them vermin, and all they do is eat, exercise their bowels and so and stuff, waste resources. And Jonathan is kind of the voice of reason. And then it takes 5 pages, and we get into the real crux of the politics in it, where there is an election, and there's a bunch of signs with Trump on it, says no more hate. Trump is all over this book. Odd choice, but it's weird because, Frank did in the original Reagan, and I guess now he feels he needs something to do with Trump, and Trump is kind of basically dark side and the Joker's toy. Joker and him are trying to get him elected. Why Joker is around, they don't really talk about. Again, this is a very odd book. By the time Carrie Kelly shows up as Batwoman, she's got her Bruce Wayne dialogue down pretty flat, with the word balloons and what's going on in the head, and how, she uses psychoactives to deploy, the old man wouldn't, and still has the Sons of the Batman with her. And she is more, the word I want to use, in control now. Like, there's a point where, she shuts down Laura and gets her to shut up, and bossing her around. All of this is leading up to a showdown with Laura and Jonathan confront Darkseid, and 3/4 of this book is this fight that just feels like it's never going to end. They shaking down a bunch of the Jokers, and we find out that basically Jonathan's skill set. He starts calling Darkseid an old fart. Again, this battle is almost the whole book. And I'm not a huge fan of Rafael Grampa's art. Weirdly, though, it's almost very Frank-like in this, which probably why Frank wanted to have him on here. I don't know how to feel about this book. It's kind of all over the place. It's interesting. I will give it that. I don't hate Laura as much as I did in the other book she appeared in. She's still kind of just emo and annoying and cranky and a bitch, but it's a little bit more toned down, especially kind of where you get her grim, and then you have Jonathan, who is just this little toddler optimist who manages to make Darkseid bleed. It's The book is jarring. I guess I was not ready for the political parts of it and seeing Joker alive again. All very odd. Um, I've, I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10. Maybe a 5.5. Again, I such an odd book, and the story is kind of all over the place, which is the most Frank Miller thing that they could do, especially the way he's kind of been lately. Um, if you're a Frank Miller fan, like, pick it up and check it out. But if you're trying to kind of get away from politics or seeing Trump, like, there's even little dolls of Trump that Joker is holding. Again, a little odd, a little off, but yeah, I guess check it out. But if you avoid it, I don't blame you at the same time. Uh, some interesting choices here, and to be honest, I was iffy about even picking it up because Rafael Grampa was on art, and again, it's nothing against him. Like, I'm just not there for him, for his art. But Frank, I guess, wanted someone a little bit more, I don't want to say cartoony, but comic strippy. Very loose art wise. Seeing this kind of dark side in here was a little off putting, but I'll see where the story goes. This next one's going to be a short Susan of a discussion. The Dollhouse by DC on the Black Label Hill House. I read issue 1. I thought it was pretty fascinating. This one continues the story and showing what happens to the girl after her mom's boyfriend is killed with a hammer. She's become what they call an elective mute, and she's resisted going into the house. Apparently it's after people of her bloodline and constantly trying to seduce her into staying. Interesting horror. It's weird seeing a dollhouse being used, but well, I guess it's a little bit like Lock and Key, a little bit. It's got that vibe. I'm fairly interested in staying on it. I probably would have given the first issue a 7 had I reviewed it. I'm staying in the same wheelhouse there, 6.5, 7 out of 10 on that. It's so fascinating, and in this one there is basically a halfway house that all these kids that are taken from their parents are living in, and they kind of show what happens to our protagonist in there while she's in there, and as a mute, and how the other girls behave towards her. Again, like, totally worth checking out. The Black Labels are a little bit more expensive, but I really, really like this one. And Basket Full of Heads as well was another great one. Next up, we are going to... Oh, what did I do? Okay, Something is Killing the Children by Boom Studios. Totally enjoyed this issue, probably more than I should have. Basically, it is all readying ourselves for the showdown between Erica and the creature. And being where I work, starts out with her going into a place called House Depot, and she is shopping for a chainsaw. And the guy's trying to sell her one that, if you drop, it'll turn off. And he's like, I got these old crappy ones that, they run down, you can drop them, and they won't ever stop chewing whatever they're in. It could be your leg or just about anything. They have a mind of their own. She's like, can I see the crappy rundown models? And the guy's like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, like, I want one that'll, just keep going. And in her basket, she's got an axe, she's got some pruning shears, whole bunch of murdery stuff. And the guy's kind of looking at it, and the kid comes over and, he's also like showing her what he found down the aisle. And the boy who his sister had died, he goes to his dad's house. His dad's a complete wreck after his sister disappeared. And he found his dad's gun. He wants to confront Erica. We've also got kind of a murder investigation where they're describing, what a predator would do versus what a psychotic would do, and looking at all the blood problems. We also see a little bit of the sheriff getting called, and brief look at who Erica's handler is. And as she's getting ready to go into the woods to confront the beast, the boy is asking her questions. And he's basically asking, like, what are monsters? And it goes into, when you get older, you stop being able to see them. But sometimes, even if you know they're not real, you might actually believe in them. And so belief plays into the monsters being able to see them. And she starts realizing, like, the monster that's there is one of the biggest she's seen, felt. It's interesting theory, and she's like, this is bigger than it should be. And they start smelling whatever's in the cave. She starts talking to her little stuffed animal, saying, you knew what was in here. And she's getting ready. She's got her little mask on. She's got her chainsaw. She's ready for action. She goes in the cave. There's just bodies everywhere, like just strewn about. And then that freaking kid followed her in there, and he's got a gun. He's trying to scare her. He's like yelling, you fucking killed them. You killed all of them, and now you're going to pay. She goes, Tommy, you need to get down. And he goes, not a chance. And behind him is the giant creature, and we fade to black. That is the last page of the book, and the showdown is about to begin. And I just fucking love this book. This is an 8 out of 10 for me. Tynion's done a great job, but he does horror well. Also, he wrote as a backup during the, I believe, death of the family with Batman by Snyder. He did one of the backups with the Riddler that I found just completely great, where he basically said, the Riddler could at any time escape if he wanted to. He just doesn't. This book has been great. Again, Boom, weirdly, like, all of a sudden getting this talent and doing books that are both creative, fascinating, dipping their toe into horror a little bit. Just a great book, and fantastic book by Tynion and Werther Dell'Edera. The design of Erica Slaughter having this giant one eye being shown it's a striking image, weirdly. Like, I don't know why, it just kind of captures my imagination. With that being said, I managed to get on camera and not break down. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and spending your time with me. And also, I made a Instagram particularly just for my channel, and that is comic_chop_news on Insta. So that way, if you don't want to see, if you want to just show stuff, that will be where that's at. Next Sunday, we will be doing a live stream. I don't have a time lockdown, but Doomsday Clock 12 comes out, and the Comic Queen has talked me into streaming. Hopefully nothing horrible happens again like what happened last time we were supposed to stream. But it's something we both really want to talk about, and we're just going to talk about the series as a whole. So join us. I will have an announcement post on both of my Instagrams when I get all the details ironed out, but it is definitely going to be Sunday the 22nd at nighttime. That is all the information I have. Still trying to lock down if we're doing book club or not. I was allowed to basically was told to kind of take my time to get right before we start doing that. I'm not going to go into the details of what was happening. So anyway, thank you guys. Appreciate you, and happy holidays. Bye.